And by the time she was 16, she already had committed to Judaism,
Para cuando ella tenía 16 años, ya se había comprometido con el judaísmo.
and eventually she went to Israel,
Eventualmente ella llegó a Israel.
and then she converted, and
Se convirtió
then she was killed by a terrorist.
y luego fue asesinada por un terrorista.
Okay, but we're going to play the class what we did last year, because we covered everything very good with the and I don't think I can duplicate whatever we did last year. So
Pero vamos a escuchar o ver la clase de el año pasado porque no creo mejorar lo que ahí se logró abarcar.
okay.
Bien.
She didn't leave. She never
Pero
left.
se quedó allí, no se devolvió, no se fue a otro lado.
And she decided that she was going to get conversion of the best president that does conversions in Bnei Brak, and
Entonces ella decidió hacerse de la persona mejor indicada para hacer las conversiones allí en Nebrak.
right, and somehow she did it. She had determination, and I won't go details at the moment. We'll get to that later.
No entro en detalles ahorita, después lo haré.
But after about 4 years, 4 years or so, or maybe even more, she managed to. She did the conversion there.
Pero su determinación durante 4 años logró que ella hiciera la conversión.
Right, but a few months later, she was hit by a terrorist, and she was hit and killed by a terrorist in a few months
Unos
after.
meses después de su conversión, ella fue alcanzada por un ataque terrorista y falleció.
And she was killed, and she was buried in like in the cemetery, kind of like of heroes, like in the Mount of Olives. She was buried in.
Ella fue enterrada en el Monte de los Olivos, en una sección del cementerio dedicada a los héroes.
Like the fallen soldiers and stuff, right over there.
Héroes como los soldados caídos en batalla.
Right, and so that's a story overall who she was. I mean,
esa es una historia de quien ella fue.
And now, I mean, I'm going to try now. I'm going to explain what our relationship was to her, and
ahora voy a explicar cuál fue nuestra relación con ella.
Now, some of the people may actually have known her from her youth. I mean, there may be a few people, but they may not be in the shir today, that actually knew her from her youth.
Quizás ahora mismo no estén conectados quienes la conocieron en su juventud.
Right. By the way, her yahrzeit was, and she passed away she was buried on the 3rd of, she passed away on the 3rd.
On the 3rd of Heshvan.
Of Cheshvan, yeah.
Ella murió el día 3 del mes de Heshvan.
That's why we do a class about her now. And,
por eso hacemos la clase sobre ella hoy.
Right. And as far as what my relationship, so some of the people here may remember her, but I don't think any of the people that are here in the class at the moment are from those people. There may be 2 or 3 people that may have known her when she was younger and still remember her.
Tal vez haya 2 o 3 aquí conectados que la conocieron cuando ella era una jovencita.
Like that guy Carlos, he probably encountered her. He probably met her.
Por ejemplo, Carlos probablemente la conoció.
Right. Tito Lopez, I don't remember, maybe, and maybe
Quizás
he did. I don't
Tito
remember.
López no lo recuerdo.
And Ronnie also. Ronnie maybe also. I believe it could be Ronnie knew her, met her also then.
Quizás Ronnie también la conoció.
Right. And right, but understand the community in Guayaquil that that the people try to start this, so they named it after her. And
La comunidad de Guayaquil nombró el centro en su memoria.
right, our people try to, we're trying to put together a community, and it's still, it's still working. We're still working on it.
Aún estamos trabajando en levantar una comunidad ahí.
Right. Now, I will share like what our relationship was with her, and
Ahora cuento sobre la relación que tuvimos nosotros con ella.
yeah, I mean, when I say our, I really mean myself and my ex-wife.
Cuando yo digo nosotros me refiero a mí y mi esposa.
Because that was, that was how I met her. Because I didn't meet her personally. I met her because she had a relationship with my wife. That's how, my
Es
ex-wife.
que yo personalmente no la traté, pero ella tenía una relación con mi ex esposa.
Right. But I'm explaining.
Yo estaba estudiando en el Monte de Sion.
And they began bringing some people from Colombia into Yeshiva.
Empezaron a traer a gente de Colombia a la Yeshiva.
And if they had girls, they started bringing a group of girls also. Like they had there's girls there.
También había una yeshiva para niñas paralela a la de niños.
And then eventually my wife is Spanish, got involved in helping them and helping those girls. And my ex-wife.
Mi ex esposa se involucró con ellas porque ella habla español.
Right, and so they gave her, at some point she got like a kind of like official position of being like a mother there.
Entonces obtuvo como que una posición oficial como mamá ahí.
And then we would invite, so part of the thing was that we invite the groups of girls for Shabbos, for the Sudas and Shabbos.
Entonces nosotros invitábamos a un grupo de niñas para pasar el Shabbat.
No, every Suda or Shabbos we would have a group of the girls, not all the girls, a certain number of them. They would come for each
Un cierto grupo de esas niñas venían para cada seudá, para cada comida de Shabbat a la casa.
Right, sometimes we had 5 of them, sometimes even 10. I mean.
A veces llegamos a tener hasta 10.
Right, okay. And so she was among those girls that she would come.
Ella estaba entre estas chicas que venían.
And she was very, I'm just saying from my observations of her, she's very, very modest.
De lo que yo pude observar, ella era muy modesta.
Very, because she could have easily been gone, she could have got a lot of attention for herself if she wanted to.
Si ella así lo hubiera deseado, ella podría haber obtenido mucha atención.
Right, but she was very, she completely went in the opposite direction of like keeping herself, that she wanted like nobody should notice her.
Pero totalmente lo contrario ella hacía. Ella no quería que alguien la notara.
Right, I mean the only thing I perceived in her that she was a very spiritual person.
Yo podía percibir en ella que era una mujer, una persona muy espiritual.
But she would almost never say anything. She would keep her mouth closed. She wouldn't say anything. She wouldn't talk at all.
Casi nunca hablaba, mantenía su boca cerrada.
Sometimes I try to get the girls to be engaged in this like study, teaching a little bit during the meals, but she would never respond.
Había veces en las que yo incitaba a que ellas compartieran enseñanzas a la hora de la comida, pero ella no participaba.
Maybe it was out of modesty, or
tal vez era por modestia.
or maybe she didn't want to. So people have told me that she was really very deep knowledge of a lot of things, and so she didn't want to, but she always kept it hidden. She didn't want people to know.
Se me dijo que ella entendía cosas muy profundas, pero ella las mantuvo guardadas dentro de ella.
That's what people say. That's the legend. And
Eso es lo que la gente dice de ella.
and my wife got involved with teaching her Hebrew. My ex-wife teaching her Hebrew more directly.
Mi ex esposa se involucró enseñando hebreo directamente a ellas.
And so she would come up like a few times a week. She would sit with her for an hour or two.
Varias veces a la semana ella venía y se sentaba a estudiar por 2 o 3 horas. O 2 o 3
I said
veces a la semana.
1 or 2 hours. I said I didn't say
1 o
3
2
hours.
horas,
I
pero
don't want to make it more than what it
varias
was.
veces a la semana. Yeah, I could with the
Okay.
days.
Right, and at some point she then left the school there.
En algún punto ella abandonó la escuela ahí.
She went to live in Bnei Brak itself.
Ella se fue a vivir a Nebra.
I don't remember exactly why. I mean,
No me acuerdo exactamente por qué.
just that she got her own apartment there, and then she got a job in order to be able to support herself.
Ella obtuvo un apartamento para vivir allí y un trabajo para pagarse su estancia ahí.
And all the time that she was working towards doing the conversion, and
Todo el tiempo que estuvo ella trabajando sobre su conversión.
and right, so we said that at some point she got the conversion. She did it, and she did the conversion there.
Y ya dijimos que en algún punto ella logró la conversión.
And she would. It seemed she would travel. There was a school in Jerusalem, another school there for Spanish-speaking girls, Rabbi Alberson's school.
Otro rabino, Alberson,
Yeah.
tenía una escuela en español allá y en
And she
algún
would
momento
come.
ella atendió.
She would travel in from Bnei Brak to this school to this school just to study there a certain amount of times a week to study there for a few hours.
Ella se trasladaba hasta allá algunas veces a la semana para estudiar allá.
And one of the times, I mean, she got off the bus, and she was waiting for the train there.
Una de esas veces ella descendió del autobús y estaba esperando el tren.
And that's when the terrorist came in a car, and he came with his car, and he sped into all the people waiting for the train.
Y en ese momento fue cuando el terrorista se acercó sobre todos los que estaban esperando el tren.
And she was like the first person, like the second, I think she got off the train, or I must be she got off the train at that point. The second she got off the train, the car came. So she had no time to react. As soon as she turned in that direction, the car came right into her and hit her, square on.
En el momento que ella descendía del tren, allí sin tiempo para reaccionar, al descender y dar la vuelta, ahí fue alcanzada.
Most of the people got out of the way. There was another baby that was killed also.
La mayoría de la gente logró hacerse a un lado, pero también hubo un bebé que murió ahí.
And right, so we were very shocked by it and the situation, and
Y claro que nosotros fuimos, pues entramos en shock al enterarnos.
I mean, at first she was in the hospital. She hadn't passed away yet. She was in the hospital. Maybe it happened around Thursday. It happened, and
Era jueves
maybe even Wednesday.
O tal vez miércoles cuando la ingresaron en el hospital. No murió
But
instantáneamente.
she had very bad brain injury, and
pero tenía una herida en el cerebro, en la cabeza muy grave.
right. but my wife, my ex-wife, whatever, she felt very quite close to her, and
Mi ex esposa se sentía muy allegada a ella.
then I also went with her to visit, to go to the hospital, as much as we could, as much as I could at that point.
Entonces, yo acompañé a mi esposa y la visitamos las más veces posible en el hospital.
And then on Shabbos, really, there was nobody. So basically, we were given the responsibility, to stay with her for over Shabbos. And
Para Shabbat no había quien estuviera con ella, así es de que básicamente a nosotros se nos encargó estar con ella en Shabbat.
so there was a few friends, and we were there, and
Éramos pocos amigos y allí estuvimos.
so I stayed the whole Shabbos. I stayed in the hospital there, that whole Shabbos,
Todo el Shabbat nos quedamos allí.
and then I can only say personally that on Friday night when Shabbos commenced, at that point,
Puedo decir que en el momento que arribó el Shabbat, el viernes en la noche,
there was a few people there, also.
había algunas gentes allí también.
And I was in the room there, with her.
Y yo estaba en el cuarto ahí con ella.
Of course, she was just completely bandaged up, especially around the head, and there was brain leaking out of her ears and her nose.
Estaba completamente vendada su cabeza, pero drenaba por los oídos y por la nariz su cerebro.
Right, and I don't know, I don't know nothing about this, and of course, I wanted to believe that she'll get better. That's what I wanted to believe in.
Y claro que sin entender, aún así yo quería desear que ella se recuperara, que estuviera mejor.
So I saw when Shabbos commenced, that whole face lit up, like shining, like a big glow on the face.
Entonces, cuando inició el Shabbat, yo pude ver cómo su rostro se iluminaba.
And then I told the people around, she's gonna get better. I could see that she'll get better. I have no doubt about it. She'll get better.
Entonces yo le dije a todos los que veía, claro que se va a mejorar, se va a
Because
componer.
I saw like so much life in her and whatever.
Yo vi tanta luz en ella.
And nothing. I was praying there as much as I can. I prayed.
Entonces estaba rezando yo tan duro como pudiera.
And can't say. All I can say is that whole Shabbos, her face is glowing.
Puedo decir que durante todo el Shabbat su rostro estaba iluminado.
Okay, so and I could say she was, spiritually like glowing or shining. And,
Podría decir que espiritualmente brillaba, alumbraba.
And the stuff, the fact that there was some brains leaking from my ears and her nose, that didn't detract from the whole thing.
El hecho de que su cerebro drenaba y salía por sus oídos y por su nariz no le restaba al brillo de su rostro.
Right, and right, and understand. I mean, whatever. And then in the end, towards the end, in the next day, on Sunday, towards the evening, she passed away. And,
Al día siguiente, el domingo por la tarde, ella falleció.
right, because basically you can't survive if the brain is like that. You can't survive that, and whatever.
Uno no puede sobrevivir a una herida al cerebro así.
Right, and right, just that. So what I take is that that's a sign of something about the greatness of her. That Shabbos over there. There's a sign of some greatness there. That's what I took.
Hay evidencia, pues, de la grandeza de ella, de su espiritualidad.
Right, because I compare like the glow on her face to the glow that I've seen on some big rebbes and holy rebbes and stuff like that, on something like that.
Porque yo comparo lo que vi del brillo en su rostro con el que he visto en el rostro de rabinos muy grandes.
On Shabbos, like
En
how they
Shabbat.
look on Shabbos.
¿Cómo se ven
Yeah.
esos rabinos en Shabbat?
Mm. And okay, and so that's basically my. Now I was very moved by the whole thing, by this whole thing.
Yo fui muy conmovido por todo esto.
And I would say that was my point of like initiation into public service was that day, from the point at which she passed away, from the point that she got the accident. That was like my initiation into public service.
Yo puedo señalar a ese incidente, a esos días, como los días de mi iniciación en el servicio público.
Because from then on, I perceive myself as I have to serve the public, and
Desde ese momento yo sentí la urgencia y la necesidad de servir al público.
it was my wife, basically my ex-wife, in this not too long later, my ex-wife both felt that we should go to South America to try to help people who were similar to her, to help them, and if there were people like her around, so we should go there and try to help them, try to make have some impact on them.
Un poquito después de que esto sucedió, mi esposa y yo sentimos la urgencia, la necesidad de ir a Centroamérica a ayudar a gente como Yemima en su deseo.
Right, and so then and we had momentum for 6 years, and we did it, and whatever it was.
Y tuvimos un momentum allí fuerte por unos 6 años.
And we did whatever we could. We made contact. We got in touch with whatever we could. Whatever we could, whatever we could do, we did.
Cualquier cosa que estaba a nuestro alcance hacer, lo hicimos. Contactamos a tantas personas como pudimos.
Right, and deep down, I mean, that was really, that helped the whole that momentum really held the whole marriage together. And when we ran out of momentum, we lost the marriage too.
Y aún ese momentum que traíamos, esa motivación, mantuvo activo nuestro matrimonio. Y cuando eso cesó, también se desbarató.
We lost that. We lost that, and okay, but everything is from Hashem. That's it.
Pero todo es de Hashem.
Now,
Ahora,
okay, and some things about the legend of Yemima. Now we'll talk about that. I mean,
ahora vamos a hablar sobre la leyenda de Yemima.
because this is the part that I didn't, I talked about what I experienced in relation to her. Now I'll talk about what other people said about her and so on and so on.
Acabo de terminar de decir lo que a mí me impactó, lo que yo viví, pero ahora voy a contar lo que otros cuentan de su trato con ella.
And I mean, people say they say that she was a very special person, very, very special. That's what they say.
Dicen que ella era una persona muy especial.
And her mother and her sister were really the ones that close to her and that really knew her inside.
La mamá y la hermana de Yemima realmente la conocían muy bien, sabían lo que ella era en su corazón.
And one story that I've heard that they say
Hay
is
una historia que ellas comparten,
which is that when she was around 16 and she considering that she should go to Israel.
de cuando ella tenía 16 años y estaba considerando irse a Israel.
And she, I mean, she was hesitant to go. She says, who am I to go to such a holy place? I mean, she was hesitant.
Pero ella llegó a pensar, ¿quién soy yo para ir a semejante lugar? No tengo idea.
And she wanted a sign. She said, I think she said she would pray. Hashem should give her a sign that it's right for her to go.
Y ella buscaba una señal, rezaba al respecto, pidiéndole a Hashem que le confirmara si ella había de ir a Israel.
And they say that once she was davening Shemona Esrei, she was praying.
Y su mamá y hermana cuentan que un día que ella estaba rezando la Shemona Esrei, la Amidá,
And then there was an earthquake. While she was davening, there was an earthquake in Guayaquil, like you have from time to time.
en el momento que ella estaba rezando, sucedió un terremoto en Guayaquil. Son comunes por allá.
And some of the pots and pans and dishes fell off the shelf and so on.
Algunos de las cazuelas y de los trastos se cayeron durante el terremoto.
But she's praying, and she doesn't stop the prayer. She just continues on as if like nothing happened, like nothing.
Pero ella estaba rezando y no interrumpió su rezo. Ella siguió rezando como si nada sucediera.
And then afterwards, she took she came out of the prayer.
Y cuando al fin sale del rezo,
Then she looked around and she said, "What happened here? What happened with all the pots and pans and everything? What's going on?"
cuando ella voltea a su alrededor, después de que terminó el rezo, les pregunta, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó por aquí?
That means she was in the prayer, she was so concentrated that she wasn't aware of anything that was going on around her, and she didn't, and so she didn't even know that there was an earthquake.
Eso es evidencia de que cuando ella rezaba, se metía tanto en el rezo que ya no estaba consciente de lo que pasaba en su derredor.
Right. I think that they say that the story is, the legend is that she took that as a sign that she's ready to go.
Y cuenta la mamá que esa fue una señal para ella de que sí debía ir a Israel.
Okay, and I'm just saying, from my observation, so it's very surprising that, I mean, she's a girl that could have had all the, basically the good life if she wanted to. I mean, over there, I mean.
Yo veo que si ella hubiese querido, hubiera tenido una vida con comodidades, con lo mejor.
Because she could have been admired and all that, but she didn't consider any of that at all.
Podía hasta haber sido admirada, pero ella no consideraba eso
She didn't
como...
consider that. She didn't. She was very unique person, and she's very like a holy person. I mean.
Era una persona santa.
Right, and it's very and I'm not. My ex-wife says that that she once told her that she pointed to Mount of Olives and she said she'll be buried over there. She once told them.
Yemima le llegó a contar a la esposa del Rab, apuntando hacia el Monte de los Olivos, que ella deseaba ser enterrada ahí.
And that was one thing. And they say that she used to stay up all night and study. That's the part of the legend that she would.
Cuentan que ella se desvelaba en la noche estudiando.
And she had many notebooks full of things that she would write all night. I don't know. That's the legend that they would say.
Hay una leyenda que cuenta que tenía muchos cuadernos de las notas que ella tomaba de sus estudios.
Okay, and that's about all that comes to mind at the moment. And
Esto es todo lo que se me viene a mente en este momento.
right, just at her funeral, she had some of the top rabbis. The top rabbis all took note of by her the funeral. They came and they spoke there. And
En su funeral, o a su funeral, asistieron de los rabinos de más alto nivel.
It was on a Sunday night around midnight. That's when the funeral was.
Su funeral fue un domingo a medianoche.
And it came from the top rabbis of Mir Yeshiva spoke at a funeral.
De la Yeshiva Meir, los más altos rabinos de allí hablaron en su funeral.
And one of the top rabbis, the top rabbi from Bnei Brak, who was alive at the time, sent another rabbi as a personal messenger to speak at a funeral.
El rabino principal de Nebrak mandó a un rabino con un mensaje personal para comunicarlo en el funeral.
I don't know if he sent him personally to speak. He didn't send a personal message. He sent him personally
Mandó
as
a
his
una
messenger to
persona
speak at the funeral.
a hablar el mensaje.
No, he didn't say the message. He didn't send him to say anything. He sent him to speak, to talk as his
Mandó
message.
a un rabino a hablar en el funeral.
And he said at the funeral that this great rabbi from Nebrak sent him to come, told him to come.
En el funeral, este rabino enviado dijo que había sido enviado por este rabino
Right.
de Nebrak.
Right. Aside from that the political people spoke at a funeral, whatever. It was political also.
También hubo gente involucrada en la política que habló en el funeral.
And you can still put in maybe on the internet Yemima mascara. You can put it in, and you can find still a little bit of from a funeral, like video from a funeral.
Creo que todavía podemos poner en el buscador Yamima Mascara y va a haber información, va a haber videos.
You can get like a video of a funeral still, a little bit.
Todavía se puede observar un poquito de su funeral.
And so I still I don't know, since I guess I didn't say this part because it's too emotional or whatever, but I was there I attended right when she passed away. At that point when she passed away, I attended there. When the thing went blank, I was there on that Sunday at that point.
Creo que no lo mencioné porque es muy doloroso y me conmueve mucho, pero yo estaba allí en el momento del deceso.
And still, I mean, I feel very close, and a lot of our travels always felt that she's close to us and she's with us.
En muchos de nuestros viajes, yo sentía que ella estaba cerca de nosotros.
Okay, I guess we lost Jerison. Perdido Jerison. Right, is Yemima enterrar in Monte Olivas. Yo dicen eso in the comenzar this year. And hay personas, hay sinagoga escribe Sefer Torah en el nombre de Yemima. And como cuando nosotros hacen aquí es ese como el nombre de Yemima. Por eso ella es como motivation. Ella es motivation para todo eso. and
Ella quedó enterrada en el Monte de los Olivos, como lo dije anteriormente. Ella ha sido motivo para que se escriban rollos de Torá y es como una motivación o inspiración para mí.
right, she's a motivation for whatever we're doing here,
Ella
and
es para lo que estamos haciendo aquí.
right, and she. I'm saying, if you die al kiddush Hashem, you get you go into the highest level up in heaven and all that.
Si uno muere elevando el nombre de Hashem, llega a lugares muy altos.
Right, and plus she was at the time when she passed away, she was going to study also,
Cuando ella murió, ella se dirigía a estudiar.
and so in the Talmud also one of the sages in the Talmud said, when I go, I should go when I'm going to do mitzvah.
Uno de los sabios dejó escrito que cuando
In the
él
Talmud, in the
fuera,
Talmud, yeah.
en el Talmud lo dejó escrito, que cuando él se fuera de este marco, él quisiera retirarse haciendo una mitzvah, rumbo
As
a
he's
hacer una
going to do a mitzvah, it says there.
cuando estuviese encaminado hacia hacer una mitzvah.
Right, because then your intention is really to do, your intention is all to do for Hashem at that time. I mean,
Porque la intención de uno en esos momentos es servir a Hashem.
and so that's how you want to go over here.
Entonces esa es la manera en que uno quiere salir de aquí,
Because the thing is that your last thoughts, that's really what's carries with you a lot, a lot.
porque realmente tu último pensamiento es lo que te lleva, te transporta por mucho.
Right. So someone who passes away like that, that's a sign that they're a tzaddik because Hashem loves them and whatever.
Y alguien que muere así, pues tiene una señal de que Hashem lo ama.
Okay, and right, and she's an example for all the other, for all the people in South America, many thousands and tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands.
Ella es un ejemplo para la gente en Sudamérica, miles,
Right, right.
en los
Central
diez
also, not
miles.
Latin America. That's the right word.
Más que sur o centro, Latinoamérica es la
Right.
palabra de
Hopefully,
latino.
Latin America doesn't exclude Brazil. It doesn't exclude Brazil. I don't think so. Brazil too.
Pues,
Okay.
espero que ese término no excluya a Brasil, porque Brasil también está incluido.
Okay, and that means that if there could be something like that, such a righteous person, such a diamond, in the middle of middle of somewhere in the churches and all that.
Semejante diamante en medio de esas iglesias.
If there's one like that, then there's others like that, or there is others like that all over.
Y hay otras como ella por todos
If
lados.
there's one, then there's others.
Si hubo una, hay otros.
Okay, and some of them are even with us in the shurim
Algunos de ellos están con nosotros en los shurim.
and these so such people are really very special and
Tales personas son en verdad muy especiales.
right, and it's a very big mitzvah and this to try to help such people.
Es una gran mitzvah ayudarles a llegar.
Okay, to help such people. I really don't understand
Ayudar,
what
ayudar a tales personas es una gran mitzvah.
and
I see that Gerson is back. Do you want?
I think more or less we finished the whole thing, but let's see.
Bueno,
I think we
Gerson,
finished
¿se
it.
habrá terminado toda la transmisión ya? ¿Cree el rap que sí?
Shalom, no me di cuenta en qué momento se desconectó. Yo estaba, según yo,
Mm,
transmitiendo la clase. No sé en qué momento se detuvo mi
I don't
internet,
know.
perdón.
I don't know. I don't know.
No nos dimos cuenta del minuto tampoco.
I don't know.
Ah,
We have to rewind this share itself, then we can see which minute.
tendríamos que darle reversa a esta presente grabación para darnos cuenta en qué minuto dejamos de escuchar la anterior.
Puedo
Mm.
transmitirlo los 10 minutos si quieren.
He could give us the last 10 minutes if you want.
Okay, put it on. If we
Sí,
heard it already,
ponlo.
we'll tell you.
Y si ya lo escuchamos, te lo diremos.
She didn't leave. She never left.
Yosef, los más altos rabinos de allí hablaron en su funeral.
And one of the top rabbis, the top rabbi from Bnei Brak, who was alive at the time, sent another rabbi as a personal messenger to speak at a funeral.
El
And,
rabino principal de Nebrak mandó a un rabino con un mensaje personal para comunicarlo en el funeral.
I don't know if he sent him personally to speak. He didn't send a personal
Ah,
message. He sent him personally
mandó
as
a
his
una
messenger to
persona
speak at the funeral.
a hablar el mensaje
He
que
didn't say the
quería.
message. He didn't send him to say anything. He sent him to speak, to
No,
talk as his
mandó
message.
a un rabino a hablar en el funeral.
And he said at the funeral that this great rabbi from Nebrak sent him to come, told him to come.
En el funeral, este rabino enviado dijo que había sido enviado por este rabino
Right.
cabeza de Nebrak.
Right. Aside from that political, the political people spoke at a funeral, whatever. You had political. It was political also.
También hubo gente involucrada en la política que habló en el funeral.
And you can still put in maybe on the internet Yemima mascara. You can put it in, and you can find still a little bit of from a funeral, like video from a funeral.
Creo que todavía podemos poner en el buscador Yamima Mascara y va a haber información, va a haber videos.
You can get like a video of a funeral still a little bit.
Todavía se puede observar un poquito de su funeral.
And so I still I don't know, since I guess I didn't say this part because it's too emotional or whatever, but I was there I attended right when she passed away. At that point when she passed away, I attended there. When the thing went blank, I was there on that Sunday at that point. And
creo que no lo mencioné porque es muy doloroso y me conmueve mucho, pero yo estaba allí en el momento del deceso.
And still, I mean, I feel very close, and a lot of our travels, I always felt that she's close to us and she's with us. And,
en muchos de nuestros viajes, yo sentía que ella estaba cerca de nosotros.
right, and I still feel now that she's helping with with the whole thing.
Y aún creo que ella sigue ayudando con todo esto.
And so basically, I don't know. I hope with Hashem's help that we could just do more. That's more people bring people closer to to the real true sanctity. That's basically that she should be an example for more people. That's all.
Yo siento que básicamente ella debe de ser una inspiración.
Right. And we so
Hashem nos
and
ayude.
she should also plead for us to to forgive our sins and to help us to do better. That's all.
Que nos ayude y perdone nuestros pecados.
And to help us to improve, to do better, to have a better, more influence, and more people, on the people that need it, that are looking for us in here.
Que nos ayude a ayudar a otros, a los que están buscando que podamos
Okay.
asistirlos.
Okay. Now I'll see if I'm opening up. Anybody else has something that they remember or whatever. So.
Quiero abrir aquí ahora un espacio para las gentes que la recuerden. Si
Or any
quieren,
comments or whatever.
o cualquier comentario.
Okay.
Pues yo quisiera decir que se me cae la cara de vergüenza. ¿Qué tanto tiempo hemos desperdiciado? ¿Qué tan lento vamos? Y esta chica nos dice que sí se puede, si se quiere, se puede. La conversión. What I say is that her life is like a mirror to ourselves, and we find ourselves lazy because we've taken too much time for granted, and she did much, so little.
Right, it's true. Right. I one point is that when her mother and her sister came for the funeral, they stayed in Israel and they never left, and they also converted.
Ah, también debo de decir que cuando su mamá y su hermana vinieron a Israel para el funeral, ellas se quedaron en Israel y también hicieron conversión.
And they never left,
Y ya nunca se fueron.
And I think not too long ago, actually, when I was in Guayaquil, I visited her brothers.
Cuando yo
And
estuve en Guayaquil, visité a sus hermanos.
and then I heard that one of them decided to go to Israel and also convert. That I've heard a few years ago.
Escuché que alguno de sus hermanos también ya deseó la conversión y tenía planes de irse a Israel.
Oh, see, Xiomara says that Xiomara knows. Xiomara knows. Okay. Thank you,
Xiomara la
gracias.
conoce, gracias.
She says that one of her brothers is studying in Yeshiva.
Sí, uno de sus hermanos está estudiando ahí en la Yeshiva. So how many years have gone since? ¿Cuánto hace que pasó esto?
We got there maybe even around 7 years ago already, something like that. That's when we first came to Colombia.
Hace como 7 años, la primera vez que llegamos a Colombia.
Around.
Más o menos por ahí.
And that was only a few months after she passed away. That's when we already got up and packed all the stuff and moved. Went to Colombia.
Bueno, pues unos meses después del entierro de Yemima, ellos empacaron sus cosas y fueron a Colombia.
Okay.
And Johnny says that the story of Yemima kept his spirit awoken. La historia de Yemima, dice Johnny, es la que me mantuvo con el espíritu despierto. With a awoken spirit.
Right. Well, it helped me a lot also, the truth is.
Y el Rab dice, a mí también me ayudó mucho. Yo diría, en México tenemos el dicho, una de cal por muchas de arena, como en las palas, en las cucharas de albañil. In Mexico, we say one type of soil for many of sand when they're building something. Y Yemima yo creo que es esa de cal, porque hay tantas historias horribles, vergonzosas de quienes se dicen que buscan la conversión y hacen mala fama para los que vienen atrás. There are so many that seek conversion while they do, and they act so terribly that they make a bad statement, or they They make Jews think bad of us seeking conversion, but Yemima was the exception to that.
Right. Right. People mostly the problem is the people. It's like the lack of education, the ignorance of people. That people are not. That's the problem.
El problema principal, dice el rabino, con los que buscan conversión es la ignorancia, la falta de información.
Right. And so I try to make a difference in these things, in such a thing, but we don't know. Whatever Hashem wants us.
Tratamos de hacer una diferencia y que sea lo que Hashem quiera.
Okay. All right. So I guess if there's no more questions, we'll stop with this.
Si ya no hay más preguntas, aquí paramos.
Okay. Okay. So back to the present. Volvera presente.
Aquí en el presente.
Right. And nothing. We still hope, basically, in the merit of Yemima, that Hashem should help us.
En el mérito de Yemima, esperamos que Hashem nos ayude.
And succeed in what we're doing to educate people, to help people to grow.
Tener éxito en ayudar a que la gente crezca.
And to educate people.
Educar a la gente.
And that we ourselves should come together and to help each other more.
Y que nosotros mismos ayudemos más. We ourselves help
Come
more.
together.
What?
Come together.
Que nos unamos.
And to help each other more, that's all.
Para ayudarnos unos a otros más.
Okay, and cause in this, oh, and anybody have anything to add? We have a few more minutes.
¿Alguien quisiera añadir algo? Tenemos unos minutos más.
Maybe somebody wrote something, I don't know.
A ver, ¿habrá escrito alguien algo? Es que yo esperaba que abriera el micrófono, pero si escribieron, hay muchos mensajes.
Johnny has a like a card with a picture on it of it, a picture.
A ver, Johnny nos compartió como una tarjeta que hay allí con la foto de Yemima. Y dice Johnny, todo este tiempo he traído este recuerdo en mi cartera. All the time I've carried this in my wallet.
In my wallet. Yeah. Thank you.
Walter dice, inspirador, por esos méritos logremos lo que anhelamos con la voluntad de Hashem.
Okay. No more comments, then we'll stop over here.
Bueno, si no hay más comentarios, paramos por aquí.
And also today is also tomorrow basically is Gimel Cheshvan. Tomorrow is the Yortzeit.
Mañana es el Yerzeit de Yemima.
And
Pero
also
hoy es
Ravad
nuestra
Yosef
última
also the
clase.
same day. Ravad Yosef also the same day.
Y coincide con Rav Yosef.
Right. And okay, so we're going to stop here anyhow. Have a good Shabbat Shalom for everybody.
Bueno, aquí terminamos y que tengan Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, and thank you for the translations.
Gracias, Rav, por
And thank you, Jerison, for putting on the class.
Y gracias, Gerson, por poner esta clase.
Okay, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, Rabino, y gracias porque muy hermoso lo que nos contó y nos sentimos muy felices y contentos. Shalom, gracias.